Supreme. Guardian?
Eyesupsaf.
Eyes up, Guardians. We have another build for you today. Today we're going to be taking a look at Arc Warlock. Now, Arc Warlock has been one of my favorite archetypes in the game for an extremely long time. I love all of the Arc Warlock supers, and Geomag Stabilizers is a featured exotic this season, so I really wanted to see if we could lean into it, even though we don't have a lot of artifact mods to support it. Now, before we get into the build, I did want to show you guys a little bit of gameplay footage of it. This was taken from my live stream. If you guys aren't following me over on Twitch or on YouTube, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Shameless plug, I know. But yeah, we were doing Dark Priestess Empire Hunt here. We created a ton of Ionic traces. We got a ton of super, and overall, I mean, this was just a really easy Empire Hunt for us. And this was in the fire team ops. We didn't have a fire team that we went in with. So it was really, fun to do some under-level content. This is minus 40 power. As you guys know, Fire Team Ops is under 40. So I just wanted to showcase the build for you guys. So check out the gameplay footage. Let me know what you guys think, and then we'll have the build right after this.
Down, folks. Over. That's all of them. All of Aramis's lieutenants. Her entire council.
The reign of the Kill of Darkness is ended.
Alright, without further ado, let's get right into the build. For our abilities, we're using Healing Rift, we're using Chain Lightning, and Pulse Grenade. We also have Arc Soul, so when we cast our rifts, we get a little buddy. And then we have Electrostatic Mind. So defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded targets create Ionic traces. Collecting an Ionic trace makes you amplified. This is really good because we're going to be creating a ton of Ionic traces. Now you can make a change here to the aspects if you want to. If you don't like running Arc Soul, you can change that out for Ionic Sentry. And Ionic Sentry does kind of help with the unstoppable situation if you don't want to switch up on weapons. The reason for that is because when you throw down Ionic Sentry, when it impacts the target, it blinds them, and blind will stun unstops. However, it's not a very reliable option to stun unstoppable champions. So if you're going up against a bunch of unstops and you're playing solo content, I would suggest switching up the weapons. If you're going in with a fire team, just make sure someone else has unstoppable and you'll be perfectly fine. Going into the fragments, we are running Spark of Resistance. This adds to our survivability, gives us some damage resist when we're near targets. We're using Spark of Ions, so defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with Bolt Charge creates an Ionic trace. This is huge because we're going to have a ton of Bolt Charge and our grenades will jolt. Then we're also using Spark of Discharge, so Arc Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an Ionic trace, and collecting them gives us Bolt Charge, which feeds back into our Spark of Ions. And then lastly, we're running Spark of Shock. So our arc grenades do jolt targets. This helps us to have a little bit of additional help against overload champions. So again, if you're going up against unstoppables and overloads, you can switch out your weapon for a hand cannon and your grenades will still jolt overload champions. So you still have the opportunity to hit all the champion types. Going into our weapons, we're using Mint Retrograde. I just love Mint Retrograde. We all know how strong this is this season. If you have one that has chain reaction, you can switch this out for more ammo generation if you want to. So you could run something like Envious Arsenal with chain reaction, but this is just in the build to burn down high health targets and to help with anti-barrier. Centrifuge is the main weapon that we are using. I'm having a lot of fun with this weapon. It's also a seasonal weapon and it's doing a good amount of damage, especially with the arc modifiers that we're using. Now, I don't have the catalyst fully completed for this, but if you do, it's going to feel even better in this build. And then for our heavy slot, I wanted to keep it with the seasonal weapons. So we are using a solar weapon here, Outrageous Fortune. We have one with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. Going into our armor, we have a little bit of a mix here to kind of even out our stats. We have 2 Paragons, and we have a Grenader and a Gunner just to kind of even out the stats as much as possible. I don't have the correct boots. This is still the old Geomag stabilizers that I've had for the longest time, so the stat distribution on this isn't the best. You guys can, if you have a better Geomag stabilizers with more super stat on it and maybe even more weapon stat on it, that would work really well. Now, going into our helmet, we are running 1 Ashes to Assets just to help a little bit more with the super regen. We are running 1 super font since we're sitting at 160 super. If you have the gear to go up higher than 160 super, even better. If you can hit 180 and then run 1 super font, you max out at 200, get your super back even faster, and it does more damage. And we are running 1 Harmonic Siphon as well, just because we're going to be getting a ton of kills with our Centrifuge. Going into our arms, we're running 1 Firepower, so Grenade Final Blows give us the Orb of Power. We do have 1 Grenade Font, which helps stack this over to 100 Grenade, which gives us our max cooldown. And then we're also running a Bolstering Detonation, so grants class ability energy when you cause damage with your grenade. Our class is sitting at 40, which is really low, so I wanted to be able to get our class ability back, and this plus the Ionic traces that we get feel really, really good, so you don't really miss your class ability as much as you think you would with the low stat. On our chest piece, we're running the normal resist mods. On our boots, we are running 1 Better Already. This just helps with a little added survivability when you pick up an Orb of Power, and then we're doing 2 Arc Weapon Surge. There's no point in running weapon fonts with this low amount of weapon stat, so Arc Weapon Surge just gives you a higher damage boost on your Centrifuge. And then lastly, on our bond, we're running 1 Time Dilation, so our orbs last longer. We're using Powerful Attraction to suck up those orbs, and then we have another way to create orbs of power with Reaper. You can change Reaper out if you want to, run a 2nd Time Dilation, or you can even run a Bomber to get your grenade back faster. Now, going into our artifact, the most important things that you want to take here for the artifact is Refresh Threads as well as Elemental Coalescence. Elemental Coalescence allows it so that you can create more Ionic traces. And then Refresh Threads allows it that when you pick up those Ionic traces, you get your ability energy back for the least charged ability, which helps out a lot in this build. And then another really big one is Elemental Overdrive. So picking up an Elemental pickup grants increased damage to weapons of the same element, so your arc weapons are getting a boost here. And then of course you also want to run Shield Crush. While you're amplified, your grenade charges faster and deals increased damage, so this just feeds more into our grenade. And if you're not running Elemental Daze, please put it on. It'll save your life. But that's pretty much the stat breakdown as well as the armor breakdown on the build. I had a little bit of a showcase in the beginning of the video. If you guys skipped to the build and didn't watch the showcase, definitely go back and check it out. We were running a fire team ops and this build completely decimated everything. So if you guys aren't following me over on Twitch, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Helps out a lot. I appreciate you guys. And if you like the build, drop a like on the video. And don't forget to comment down below what you thought or if there's anything that you would change. I really love to hear from you guys and gather your feedback. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye.